Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Light of My Life, starring Casey Affleck, Anna Pniowsky. I don't know how you say her name, but she's the child. Anyway, Casey Affleck and his daughter. He's playing a parent and daughter who live outside society. So they're in a post-apocalyptic type world where half the world's population has been eliminated, and the two of them live alone, like, you know, in solitude, pretty much, is what I'm gathering from all of this. So, you know, and you imagine the struggles that can happen with that. So that's what I've read that this movie's about. It's 6.6 in IMDb. It's an hour and 59 minutes long. So that's the only name I reckon. Oh, Elizabeth Moss is also in it. So she had the Handmaid's Tale or something like that she's on. Anyway, who cares? I'll get into it a little bit, find out what it's really about, and then ultimately tell you what I think. So stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in. We're watching Light of My Life. We're at the 1 hour, 2 minute, 42-second mark, so just over halfway through it. You know, the plot kind of, you know, what I read to you in the beginning is kind of true. Casey, he plays, his character name is Dad, and has a daughter, Rag, and they live in the woods, essentially, and because, you know, as we know, something happened, and what it seems like, as you're watching it, there's some kind of disease that eradicated the female species for the most part, I guess. However, his daughter survived, so she wasn't impacted by this for whatever reason, we don't know. It's a series of flashbacks back to him and his wife, which is Elizabeth Moss, and then her as a baby. You know, so that's what's leading us towards, oh, okay, so there was some kind of disease or something that impacted women, and that's why half the population is gone. So because of that, I assume what he does when he does interact with other people, he refers to his daughter as his son. You know, and I guess that's probably for security reasons, protection. I'm assuming, like, if other males found out that there was a child, a woman child, or a female child, you know, bad things can definitely happen. It appears that she's about 11 years old so far. There is a town, they can go into town, they can buy certain things and stuff like that, but got to be very careful. There also seems to be something about children. There might not be a lot of children left either, but we don't know that yet. That's just a guess on some of the conversations. But for the most part, the first half of this movie is the two of them interacting together, father-daughter type, which is entertaining. So you're getting a little bit of the development of their relationship, and you know how they, you know, how he educates her, how they learn to survive, that kind of stuff. And the very beginning, I really enjoyed Art's arc, his story. Just listening to him tell that story to her, this was like kind of, I liked it a lot. I don't want to go into too much detail, you can have your own emotions about it, but I enjoyed it because I felt it was natural, and I think it was his own. I don't think it was scripted. So you'll know what I mean if you watch the movie. The other piece that I found funny was, like, they're arguing, going into town. She wants to go to the library, and he's like, look, we'll do what we need to do, that kind of thing. You know, there's choices you get to make, and there's choices I have to make. And, you know, and this is the choice I'm making, kind of thing. She's like, well, what choices do I get? And he goes, you get to choose what kind of attitude you want to have when you have to do things you don't want to do. I thought that was a fantastic answer, so I'm going to use that going forward. So, a lot of good parts. It is, I would say, probably a little dry, because it's just the two of them, you know, and it's just them getting along and stuff like that. So, you know, be aware of that. If, you know, there's lulls and stuff, but still very entertaining. I like it. I like where it's going, and I hope it continues. And we'll see what happens here. So they've essentially have found a house, and they're kind of living in the house a little bit, but, you know, they have to booby trap it, make sure people don't, you know, come after them, whatever, so they still have to protect themselves. And we still got like 57 minutes left, so I'll get back into it a little bit more if anything interesting happens. I was almost going to stop it last time when that story happened, but if anything does happen that's interesting, I'll check back in real quick. If not, I'll see you at the credits and give you my final thoughts. Alright, stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Light of My Life, and let me start off by saying, you know, back in the day, back in the Good Will Hunting day, and when Casey Affleck, came out, he was in that movie. I always thought of him as he's just riding his brother's coattails. You know, Ben writes the movies and he's a big star, whatever, and I always thought that, like, he just lucked into it. It's like, come on, little brother. But I can say, and I've said this before, maybe not to you, but he is talented. So this was written and directed by him, and of course he starred in it as well. And I do like him as an actor, and that's why I watched this movie. I've never heard of it before. Found it on DirecTV. It had him in it. I'm watching it. You know, and I think that holds true. The writing, the directing, the acting, it's all there for him. So very talented, not riding his brother's coattails at all. So I was wrong in my assessment of him way back in the day. Now, back about this, well, I mean, that pertains to this movie because he did all of that. But back a little bit more about the plot. So it picks up from a little bit more action since the last time I checked in. Wasn't a lot of the development that was going on, the development of their relationship. It starts moving into more of, again, them trying to be secluded and stay away from people because it's his daughter and she might be the only female in the entire world. And of course, guys are gonna want to catch up to them and probably kidnap her or whatever. So they have to, continue to move throughout and protect themselves. They come up with an idea to, like go to homes and stuff like that, but you never know. But I don't want to go into too much detail, but it does pick up. There's a lot more action, and it's well worth the wait if you're bored in the first half of the movie. It's not like crazy Avengers action, but I mean it's it's a little bit more movement than the emotional dialogue that was going on for the first hour. So all in all, I thought it was a good film. I liked it, father-daughter kind of film, which I can relate to. But I'll say this, the ending left me dissatisfied. I'm not sure where I wanted it to go at the end, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure, and maybe as I mull this over a little bit longer, I will come to terms with it, but right now, I think it was all done on purpose, and I get it, and I don't want to say any more than that, but I would say the film, I was in the 7 range. Only 7 because it was a little bit boring as that first hour went on, and then I enjoyed it the rest of the time. Not sure why, if they're out living in the woods, why they're in the cold areas. Like, I would migrate to a warmer area, would be me. But, that's what they're doing. And 7 throughout the movie, but then when it hits the ending, I'm not sure if I like it. I get it, not every ending's going to be the way I want it to be, but there you go. That's what I got for you. I don't want to go into greater detail, but I like the movie. Let me just summarize what I've been saying now for the last 6 minutes or whatever it's been. Great acting, very talented. The younger girl, 11 years old, so there's not much there as for acting-wise, but I thought that was cool. I like the plot. I like the whole idea. There's some merging of different plot lines from other movies in it. I get that, but I like the vagueness of it, as you really don't know a lot throughout the entire movie. You're learning as you go, and maybe you don't always learn or learn everything that you need to know by the end, maybe. So I like all that, I thought I enjoyed it. What I didn't like was the boringness a little bit, the dryness in the beginning, and the ending. So there you go. That's it. Check it out. I definitely recommend watching it. If you've listened to everything I said and you think it might interest you, give it a look. Watch it. See what you think. Check out Casey Affleck and his writing and his directing and ultimately his acting in this, and let me know what you think. See what you think about the ending. Love to hear from you what your thoughts were, and I'd love to hear what you think about the father-daughter relationship. That kind of, I mentioned a little bit more about that in the first check-in on the stories he tells her, and they're the puberty talks, the birds and the bees, and all that stuff is in this one, and I think it's really well done. You know, it's not cheesy by any stretch of the means. It's well done, and that's all part of his work. So that's it. I'm sorry, rambling on. Once you check it out, drop me a comment. Love to hear from you. Hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I will put a link in the description below if you want to click on it, watch it on demand, and if it's on DVD. You know, so check it out. Thank you for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.